Okay, so today what we're going to look at is we're going to look at bundling. And so some of the supplies that you need for bundling is of course your glue gun and a pencil. You're going to need your pasta. You're going to need a razor blade. And you're going to need a cutting board. And then of course you need your pattern and your wax paper over your pattern. Now, the wax paper is here to protect your pattern, but what you still need to do is treat your wax paper with a lot of respect. And so when you're doing your bundling, try to keep it down here on the lower part rather than on your pattern, because you're going to need your pattern to be clean when you are when you start assembling your tower. So in my other videos, I have a 20 centimeter tower. This one's for a 30 centimeter tower. So because it's a 30 centimeter tower, a 20 centimeter tower, we could fit an entire piece of pasta on a 20 centimeter tower. So there's 20 centimeters, so we could do just a single piece of pasta. However, on a 30 centimeter tower, we can't. So 30 centimeters is approximately the length of the ruler. And so in order to get to 30 centimeters, we have to join pasta together. Now, that also means that we do have to use bundling, and then we need to stagger the joints. So we're doing bundling and joint staggering. Now the thing is that if you just glue just this one joint together, it will be very weak. So in order to do that, what we have to do is we have to stagger joints in order to protect this weak joint. So the easiest way to start out is you're going to start out with a fairly short piece, and then you're going to start out, and then you're going to have a longer piece, and then you're going to have your longest piece. And then you begin to kind of build. So I'm going to add a long piece here, and I'm going to glue right here at this joint. And I'm going to strengthen this glued joint with the two stronger pieces next to it. Then I'm going to add a piece here, and I'm going to make sure to glue here, and then I'm going to add a piece here, and I'm going to make sure to glue here. Now you still want to be gluing about every inch to every inch and a half. So if we look at the inch side, you'll notice that we have a glue that we're going to obviously do at the bottom. We're going to glue here about halfway between the joint and the end, and then we're going to glue the end, and then we're going to do about another inch up, and then a little bit more, and then at the joint, and then a little bit more, and then at the joint, and then a little bit more. And so you still want to make sure that you're keeping your glue close enough to strengthen the bundle, but far enough that you're not adding so much glue that you add weight. Because remember, again, it's the lightest tower that holds, in this case, 22 pounds or 25 pounds wins. Well, 10 kilograms. So 10 kilograms. All right. Now, when you're building your bundle, you're going to build your bundle as long as you possibly can, and then you're going to cut it to this length. And then keep going and keep going and keep going. And that part of that is because if you only make your bundle long enough, you're going to waste a lot of pasta. But the other thing is that if you only make your bundle long enough, then you're going to spend a lot of time doing something very inefficiently. Okay? So I'm going to start out with my little pieces right here. Okay? In fact, I'm going to cut that one off just a little bit, just so that they're about, you know, a third again as big. Okay, and I'm going to put these over here, and I'm going to begin to build my bundle now. Because I'm right-handed, I'm going to build it this way, and I'm going to go off the table. So the end of my table is this way, and then I have a wall over here. Okay, now again, do it down here, and then that way, I take it back, I like it better this way. I'm usually sitting on the other side of the table. Okay. I like it this way because then all my joints are on my right-hand side because I'm right-handed. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm, of course, going to do the very end. Unless the gun is not plugged in. Let me grab one that is plugged in. There we go. Okay. It's a little tangled. Give me one moment. Much better. Okay. I tend to like my bigger glue gun a little better, but You know, that's okay. So we're going to start by gluing the end, and again, you want it down here, not here, because you're going to need your pattern kind of clean in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead, and remember you're spreading your glue out a little bit, and you want to keep as much glue on the pasta as possible. If you start having all those little spider webby things coming off, then you're probably either putting too much glue on your pasta or you're not sticking close enough to the pasta. Now again, remember that the glue gun is very hot, okay? So you want to make sure that you're not touching the sides of the glue gun. Okay, so I've done my first two little glues, all right? And so now I'm going to add in my first piece to lengthen my bundle. So I'm going to put a piece of glue here. And I do want to make sure that, again, the drop's not too big, but also that I'm kind of curving over the edge just a little bit because that joint is on the outside and not on the inside. I'm going to push it together a little bit with my nails, and I'm going to blow on it. Okay, and so there we go. So these two are a little bit too close together. These two are a nice distance apart, so I'm going to put one right about here, right in the middle. Strengthen my bundle. And again, trying really hard not to have these little webs. So I have a few of them, but not too bad. And of course, squishing it together. I do have a benefit that I do have nails, so I can use my nails to my advantage, but again, please be very careful. The glue is hot. You will burn yourself, okay? So I'm using these fingers to push, if you can see it, to push the joint in, okay? And then I'm going to use them to hold all three down, nice and flat, and then I'm going to glue with this one. Ooh, look, that one's so good, I almost lost the joint. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. Ooh, I like it when they fit together like that. Okay. So I'm going to glue right there. Again, I would like this glue a little bit closer to being halfway between. So I think what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue my new joint. Again, this one's on the outside, and this one has kind of a funky edge. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a sharp little edge. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to break it off and try to make it a little bit more of a straight edge rather than a sharp edge. This one's a little harder to hang on to. You got to be very careful that you're also not rolling your bundle. So this one, the joint's on the outside. So I'm going to make sure to use the nose of my gun to smooth the glue on the outside of the joint. And then I'm going to use my fingernails to just kind of push it down and together. And I'm going to blow on it. So now I have too big of a gap here. This is a really big gap. These are both joints, which means that they're going to break a little easier. And see how that one's kind of sticking out, so I'll have to definitely strengthen that up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick a drop right here in between. But notice I'm getting dangerously close to my pattern. I don't like that. So I need to pull it back down here. Okay. All right. Now I get to move on to my next joint. Okay. Oh, so this pasta is a little crooked. I'm going to turn it this way and see if that makes any better. It does. Okay, you'll notice that the pasta is a little crooked here too, but you know, I mean, if it's a little crooked, it's not a big deal. You definitely don't want one that's completely warped. And don't be afraid to break the pasta. Now, what you want to be careful of is you do not want to have two joints together. It should be one joint and two straight pieces of pasta. One joint, two straight pieces of pasta. So again, they're not too far apart, but I know that this is a joint, I know that this is a joint, so I've got to have at least a little dot right here of glue to strengthen the bundle between the two weak joints. Okay, and I'm going to keep moving down. I do not like it when glue sticks to my, again, be very gentle with how much glue you're using, because it's also going to stick to the paper, and as it sticks to the paper and you try to pull it loose, the pasta could break, and all of your work for this bundle is for nothing because you broke the bundle when you glued it to the paper. The other thing is remember that you can't have paper as part of your structure. It has to only be pasta and hot glue, so you want to make sure that you don't have any paper attached to it. Oops. Again, this is a joint that I've now put together. This is a joint, so I need something in between. And again, it doesn't need to be a lot, just a little bit. And use the nose of your gun to smooth the glue out and try to get rid of the little hairs that go flying everywhere. Okay. So you'll notice now it's getting quite long. In fact, it's longer than my tower right now. And so I want to build this until it runs off my table. And that way, so notice this one has a, I don't know again if you can see it, but it's a really curly little end. So I don't have to take too much off that end. So just a little bit. But you want to build it until it's pretty much all the way off the table. Now this one's a little warped, so I'm going to have to be quick on this one when I put the glue down. And again, I'm going to try to curl the glue a little bit on the outside. Okay, and again, oh, so it's rolling a little bit. I don't like that. So I need to be a little bit more careful. A little bit of glue in the middle. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make this joint. And you'll notice again I'm starting to run off the table. If you were to see it, it's getting off the table now. Okay. Going to put these two together. Okay, notice that I fixed the roll a little bit. Okay, and because I have an outside joint, I'm trying to make sure to get some of the glue on the outside. And again, just put a little dot down. Put a little dot and then use the nose of your glue gun to smooth that dot out. So obviously right now I need a dot here. So again, I'm going to put just a little dot. Unless I'm out of glue. Okay, so I've got a little dot. And then I'm going to smooth it out. And then use my nails to push it together. And then blow on it to cool. Okay, so I'll do one more because it's running off the table now. And again, kind of wipe the nose off on the pasta so that you don't get the little hairs as much. And it takes time and practice, and this is why you need to constantly build towers, because you learn how to put enough glue where it's not too little and yet not too much. Okay, so now I have a pretty decent bundle. Okay, I don't think it's not as long as I would normally make it, but you guys don't need to sit here and watch me make it for an hour. So it's not as long as I would normally make it, but I do need to make it so that I now need to measure my bundle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it on here, and you need to decide and be very consistent. It either needs to go on the outside or it needs to go on the inside. Pick one. Okay? Got to pick one. Okay? So I am going to go on the inside today. Okay? And whatever you do to one, you have to do to all of them. Once you decide if you're going to go inside, then they all need to be inside. So I can just see my pencil mark on this side. Okay? And so I'm going to line it up, and then I'm going to take my pencil, and where my top is, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a little pencil line right here, because that's where I need to cut it. But now I'm going to move this pencil line down to here on the line for me. So again, inside, onside, or on, pick one. And then this is inside. And I'm going to make, very carefully, another line. And then if I had more bundle, I would make another one. Okay? All right. So now I've got my piece marked. So now I need to cut it. Do not cut it on your pattern, because you're going to slice up your pattern or your table and your parents will kill you. Okay, so don't do that. So I'm going to now pull in my, and be very gentle with these, they will break. Okay, so here is my razor blade. Okay, and here are my pencil marks if you can see them. So I'm going to take my razor blade and I'm just going to kind of rock it back and forth, and it just snaps right off. This is really great pasta. The round one that I like to use sometimes, it doesn't cut that easily. And then here's my other pencil mark, and I'm going to take my razor blade right over my pencil mark, and I'm going to rock it back and forth. Okay? Should cut very nicely. So right now, I have 2 bundles with staggered joints. So these are my 2 bundles with staggered joints, okay? And when I build my tower, these are going to be right here. And and you can decide if you want your glue inside or you want your glue outside. I like my glue inside. It's up to you, okay? But now you're like, well, what do you do with that, Carrie? Okay, well, I'm going to put these somewhere safe, okay? And then I'm going to start, and I'm going to keep building. I'm going to keep building onto this, but this is a weak joint right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to drop a small drop right on here. Not too big at all. Did you see that wasn't very big? And I don't have a lot of web coming off there, a lot of little threads. Okay, and now I'm going to like the end of that. Oh, much better. Well, maybe. There. Just don't like it, but you know, sometimes you just gotta deal. Okay. So now I'm gonna put a drop in here. And because my joint's on the outside, I'm gonna try to get a little bit of glue on the outside. Use my nails. Make sure it's flat. Don't let it roll. And then of course, here's a joint, here's a joint. Ouch! Okay, hot. Don't do that. And I'm going to put a little piece of glue in here. Oh, a little too much, but that's okay. And again, spread it out. And then continue on. and then cut some more bundles, and then continue on, cut some more bundles, until you have all of your bundles with your staggered joints. Okay? Thank you.